All right, so you have spent the past couple of days practicing solving one-step equations. Now we're going to move on to two-step equations. So remember, when you're solving equations, what you do to one side, you do to the other side. Your equation is balanced, and you have to keep it balanced. So you have to do the same thing to both sides. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to add or subtract, and that's the opposite or the inverse operation. After you add or subtract, you'll divide or multiply. Again, that's the opposite, that's the inverse operation. Okay, so what you're going to do to solve an equation is you're going to divide the equation in half. So where your equal sign is, draw a line. You're going to circle everything that goes with your x. So circle your 2x. I want to keep my x on one side and move the numbers to the other side. So here I'm adding 4. To do the opposite is to subtract 4. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. Okay, I do that because 4 minus 4 is 0. So that takes care of the number on this side. Now I still have my 2x, and it's equal to 8 minus 4, which is 4. So first thing I did was I subtracted because that was the opposite. Now the number next to the letter represents multiplying. So to undo multiplying, I'm going to divide. So divide by the number in front of the x. So divide both sides by 2, because what I do to one side, I do to the other side. I do this because the ones divide out, and x is equal to 4 divided by 2, which is 2. Now it's your turn. You work number 2. All right, so number 3, I'm going to divide my equation in half. I'm going to circle everything that goes with my variable. So this time I'm subtracting 5. To undo subtracting 5, the opposite of that is to add 5. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. Subtracting 5 and adding 5 makes 0. So I have my 2x over here, and it's equal to 13 plus 5, which is 18. So I added or subtracted first. Now I'm going to divide. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. I do that because this divides into 1x, and 18 divided by 2 is 9. Now it's your turn. You do number 4. All right, so number 5, I'm going to divide my equation in half. My variable's on the right this time. It doesn't matter because this is because it's an equation, both sides are equal. So I'm still going to circle everything that goes with the x, and this time my x is on the right, so I want to move this number to the left. So this is subtracting 4. To undo subtract 4, I add 4. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. This makes 0. So I still have my 3x. I have 2 plus 4, which is 6. Next thing I do is I divide. So I divide both sides by 3. The 3's divide away. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now it's your turn. You work number 6. I'm going to divide my equation in half, circle everything that goes with the variable that includes the negative sign. To undo subtracting 3, I add 3. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. This zeroes out. So I'm left with my negative 3x is equal to 12 plus 3 is 15. I'm going to divide by negative 3. Okay? Divide both sides by negative 3 because this turns into 1x. And then I have 15 divided by a negative 3 is a negative 5. All right, now it's your turn. You work number 8. Now it's your turn. All right, so remember, when you are solving two-step equations, what you do to one side, you do to the other side. First thing you're going to do is add or subtract whatever is opposite. And then the second thing you're going to do is typically to divide. It could be to multiply, but normally it's going to be divide for 7th grade.